The sky above Earth was calm and blue, just like any normal day. Birds flew freely, children laughed in parks, and traffic moved slowly through busy city streets. People were living their lives, unaware of the storm that was approaching from the dark side of space. Far beyond the moon, something terrible was moving, something so massive and silent that even Earth's best satellites almost missed it. It was not one or two ships. It was a fleet, a full invasion force of 9,883 alien warships, each one built for destruction, was heading directly for Earth. The alien fleet came without a message. No warning, no demands, no sign of negotiation. They didn't want peace. They wanted total control. This was not their first invasion. The alien race, called the Zarnathi, had conquered more than 30 planets before this. Each time, they arrived, fast, struck hard, and left nothing behind. Their ships were black, sharp-edged, and nearly invisible to most scans. They believed Earth would fall just like the others. Easy, silent, final. In Earth's Defense Command Center, alarms finally began to ring. General Diana Cohen, a calm and experienced leader, stared at the holographic screen as the red blips approached. The solar system. Her officers shouted reports. "Unknown fleet approaching! Mass reading! Over 9,000 ships confirmed!" One of the younger officers looked pale. "They didn't send any message. Should we try to contact them?" General Cohen shook her head slowly. "They don't want to talk." But what the Zarnathi didn't know was that Earth had been preparing. Years ago, after a small alien probe crashed in South America, Earth's leaders realized they were not alone. Quietly, without panic, they began building a defense system in space, something secret, hidden from even their own citizens. It was called the Valkyrie Protocol. No nation took full credit. It was a united human effort. Scientists, engineers, and military experts from around the world worked together, and the entire project was kept in total silence. Now, as the alien fleet came closer, no announcements were made. No cities were told to panic. Satellites stopped broadcasting anything useful to space. Civilian systems were cut off from deep space data. To the world below, it was just another day. But in orbit, something deadly was waking up. On board the alien command ship, High Commander Jurak watched Earth through a large screen. He felt nothing but arrogance. "Look at them," he said to his second-in-command. "No defense fleet, no shields. Just a quiet, unprepared planet." His officer chuckled. "Primitive." Jurak nodded. "Begin Phase 1. Prepare to strike their cities. This invasion ends in one cycle." But something strange happened as the alien fleet moved. Past the moon. One of the frontline ships, gone. Not destroyed, not exploded, just disappeared from their formation. Jurak frowned. "Did they cloak?" he asked. "Negative, sir. No signal, no energy spike, just vanished." Another ship disappeared, then another. In less than 10 seconds, 6 ships were missing. No weapons fire was detected, no enemy signals, no visible threat. Confusion spread like wildfire through the alien fleet. Orders were shouted, scans were run, but nothing came up. They were alone, and yet they were not. Back on Earth, General Cohen stood silently in the command center. No cheers, no celebration, just quiet eyes watching the screen as red dots started vanishing, one by one. A single word blinked on her screen. Valkyrie Online. The secret defense system was doing exactly what it was built for, destroying threats without being seen. The Valkyrie system didn't use traditional weapons. It didn't fire missiles or laser beams. It used advanced quantum technology, systems that could tear a ship apart at the atomic level and erase it from existence. There was no explosion, no debris, just erasure, a perfect kill, invisible to most sensors. The people of Earth had no idea what was happening. They continued their lives, eating dinner, playing music, scrolling through their phones. Above them, a silent war had begun, a war they would never see. On the alien command ship, panic was rising. "We are under attack," someone shouted. Jurak slammed his fist on the console. "By what? Where are they?" He stared at the screen, and for the first time, he felt fear. Not because of what he saw, but because he saw nothing. The enemy was invisible, silent, deadly. More ships vanished. Within minutes, the count reached nearly 300. Still no enemy fire, still no response from Earth. It was as if the humans didn't care, or worse, they were watching. Jurak gave the order to retreat. "Pull back to the edge of the system! Regroup!" But it was too late. The ships that turned to flee were erased first. The Valkyrie system had already predicted their escape routes. No ship that turned away was spared. General Cohen closed her eyes for a moment. She thought of the families on Earth, the children, the artists, the scientists, all of them living in peace, never knowing how close they had come to extinction. She whispered to herself, "Let them live in peace. That's why we built Valkyrie." Above the clouds, in the silence of space, the storm had arrived. But Earth didn't scream. Earth didn't beg. Earth answered the invasion the way it had, prepared to with silence. The alien fleet was falling apart, and no one could explain why. Within minutes, over 300 warships had disappeared without a trace. There were no explosions, no fire, and no wreckage. Just silence. The Zarnathi fleet, once proud and confident, was now confused and scared. High Commander Jurak paced on his bridge. His claws tapped the cold metal floor as he stared at the empty space ahead. "Something is here," he muttered. "Something is hunting us." But Earth still did not reply. No warning, no declaration. Of war, no sound. Human command stayed completely silent. The leaders of Earth knew exactly what they were doing. The Valkyrie protocol was working, quietly, perfectly, and without mercy. In the deep shadows of Earth's orbit, invisible platforms drifted. These platforms were blacker than space itself. Covered in advanced stealth materials, they could not be seen, not even by the most advanced alien scanners. They listened, watched, and calculated. When a target entered range, the AI made a decision, and the ship was simply gone. The alien captains had no idea what they were facing. "Fire in all directions!" one commander shouted. His ship, the Zarnathi Ravastra, launched hundreds of plasma bolts into the dark void. They hit nothing. The plasma dissolved into the empty night. "We are shooting ghosts!" another yelled. Back on Earth, General Cohen watched silently. The defense center was calm, lit by soft blue lights and rows of screens. Her team was trained to show no panic. There were no cheering soldiers, no loud announcements, only quiet professionals doing their job. "How many?" Cohen asked softly. 614 ships. "Gone," replied her officer. "And still no return fire from their side." She nodded. "Good. Let them fear silence." The Zarnathi had never faced anything like this. In every past invasion, their enemies had fought back, screamed, begged, or tried to escape. Earth did none of those things. It simply observed and removed them. That silence was now terrifying. Commander Zern, leader of the 3rd Fleet Wing, opened a private channel to High Commander Jurak. "Sir," he said, voice shaking, "I suggest we pull back. This is not a fight. This is a slaughter." Jurak growled. "We are warriors, Zern! We do not run!" But even as he spoke, 2 more of their ships vanished from the fleet. The blinking red dots on the fleet map were disappearing faster now. Something had changed. Without warning, the entire 5th Wing vanished in 1 second. Hundreds of ships, gone at once. It was the first time the Valkyrie system had used its multi-lock pulse, a high-energy silent burst that could erase multiple targets at once. To the Zarnathi, it looked like magic. To Earth, it was simply the next phase. Fear spread like poison through the enemy fleet. Ships began breaking formation. Captains ignored orders. Some tried to fly backward. Some activated shields that did nothing, and others powered down completely, hoping to be missed. But the Valkyrie AI didn't care. It didn't feel pity. It only followed protocol. Back at the Galactic Council's central station, distant from Earth, a few observers were watching. They had noticed the Zarnathi fleet enter the Sol system, but after that, nothing. No messages, no status updates, just silence. A young analyst named Tren looked worried. "Sir, the fleet hasn't reported in for hours," he said. His superior looked at the screen. "Technical failure?" Tren shook his head. "Doubt it. They're just gone." The room went quiet. Meanwhile, the people of Earth were living normally. Families had dinner. Couples walked through parks. Teenagers played games. The government had kept the threat secret. There was no need to panic civilians. Earth's leaders believed that if they failed, panic wouldn't save anyone. And if they won, no one needed to know what had almost happened. Above them, the sky held a deadly silence. In the alien command ship, High Commander Jurak finally gave the order. "Activate the signal beacon. We need help." But the signal never left the ship. The moment the beacon powered on, the command ship was erased. 1 second, it was there. The next, it wasn't. There was no flash, no sound. Just an empty space where the flagship had been. Now, the fleet had no leader. Ships began fleeing in every direction. No longer soldiers, they were just prey. But running didn't help. The Valkyrie platforms had surrounded the fleet, invisible and merciless. They hunted the ships like wolves in the dark. Earth still said nothing. Inside the defense center, an officer turned to General Cohen. "Should we warn them to retreat?" She shook her head. "No. Let them learn. We didn't ask for this fight." The officer nodded and turned back to his screen. They all knew the truth. Earth had stayed silent for too long. The aliens thought that meant weakness. Now they were learning what silence really meant. By the end of the day, over 3,000 alien ships had been erased. No human fighter had been launched. No speeches had been made. Earth had responded in a way the galaxy had never seen before. No broadcast, no mercy, only quiet judgment. The stars above Earth looked peaceful. The moon reflected soft silver light over the dark oceans. On the surface, people still walked under city lights, unaware that just beyond their sky, a battle was happening, one like no other. Ships were dying, thousands of them. Not with fire, not with sound, but with silence. It was not a battle in the way the galaxy understood war. This was something far more terrifying. It was the hidden wrath of Earth. Inside a secure underground base, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, the true brain of Earth's defense pulsed with activity. The Valkyrie control room was quiet, lit with cold blue lights and lined with massive, transparent screens. Operators dressed in black uniforms sat in silence, watching ship counts drop. The AI system, Valkyrie, had no emotion. It calculated, observed, and eliminated. It was doing exactly what it was created for, protecting Earth through complete annihilation of threats. General Cohen stood behind the lead technician, her arms crossed. She wasn't celebrating. Her eyes were focused, serious. "Status?" she asked. 4,262 ships eliminated. No human casualties. All Valkyrie nodes operational, the technician replied. "Still undetected?" She asked again. "Yes, ma'am. No enemy scan has picked up any Valkyrie platform." She gave a nod. "Continue." The Valkyrie protocol had taken years to build. It started in secret labs, buried in deserts and oceans, created by a group known only as the Silent Core. These were Earth's best minds, physicists, hackers, engineers, former soldiers, all working off the grid, away from media, from politics, even from their own families. After the first alien probe reached Earth decades ago, the world knew one thing. Someone out there had weapons Earth could not match, so Earth changed its thinking. Instead of building bigger guns or faster ships, it built invisible ones. Instead of public armies, it created a hidden sword that would strike only when truly needed. That day had come. On the alien side, total chaos had taken over. With the command ship gone and over 4,000 ships vanished, the remaining captains were screaming over the comms. "Where are they? We see no weapons. This is witchcraft." The Zarnathi had crushed over 30 civilizations before Earth. None of them had fought back like this, without even being seen. Commander Vaktur, now leading the broken remains of the Second Fleet, had seen war. He had seen planets burn. But this was fear. "Whatever these humans built," he whispered, "they are not protecting themselves. They are punishing us." As the alien ships moved randomly, the Valkyrie AI predicted their patterns. It didn't attack everything at once. It picked targets with surgical precision. Command ships, sensor units, escape pods. It took out the ones that mattered first. It created confusion, fear, and isolation. Meanwhile, back on Earth, General Cohen reviewed the next stage. "Activate the black shell," she said. A separate team nodded and typed in commands. Across Earth's orbit, hundreds of stealth drones activated. They didn't fire weapons. Instead, they jammed alien sensors, scrambled long-range signals, and faked false enemy positions. To the aliens, it now looked like thousands of ghostly ships surrounded them, ships that didn't exist. The fear became unbearable. One alien ship turned and fired wildly at the space around it, hitting one of its own. Then another ship followed. The fleet began to collapse from within. Friendly fire, mistrust, total breakdown. General Cohen didn't smile. She looked tired. She had hoped this day would never come. But she also knew humans had been underestimated too many times. And now, Earth was teaching the galaxy a new lesson. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means planning. It means patience. And when that silence ends, it means destruction. As Valkyrie continued its work, a single alien ship managed to break free. It moved at top speed, using its last fuel reserves to escape. On board was an officer named Cern Talvek. His body was shaking. His hands gripped the controls. "I must warn the others," he whispered. He turned off all comms, hoping stealth would save him. He didn't know Earth was watching. The Valkyrie AI tracked the escapee. It calculated the ship's direction toward the Galactic Council's nearest listening post. The AI could eliminate it, but it paused. In the control room, a red light blinked. The system had stopped the kill command. General Cohen saw the alert. "Let it go," she said. "Let them tell the story." The AI stood down. The lone ship disappeared into deep space, unaware it had been spared. 6,000 ships had now been erased. No reply came from Earth. No news report, no warning, no claims of victory. Earth didn't need applause. It needed peace. And peace, it had learned, could only come when the galaxy truly feared what Earth could do. Above the Earth, in the quiet shadows of orbit, the Valkyrie weapons continued their silent watch. Ready, watching, invisible. The wrath of Earth was not loud. It was not full of fire or speeches. The stars still shone over Earth as if nothing had happened. But high above, where the vacuum of space held no air and no mercy, the battlefield was emptying. The alien invasion fleet, once proud and unstoppable, was now scattered, broken, and terrified. More than 6,000 of their ships had vanished into nothingness. No bodies, no debris, just cold silence. And through it all, Earth never said a word. Inside the Valkyrie control room, deep under Earth's surface, the air was cold and still. Dozens of operators worked in silence. There were no cheers, no shouts of victory. Every person in that room understood what was happening. This was not a war to celebrate. It was a warning. General Diana Cohen stood in front of the main screen. The countdown of enemy ships kept dropping. "Status?" she asked calmly. "We're at 2,183 enemy vessels remaining," replied the lead analyst. "They're spreading out, trying to hide behind planets and moons. Some are even leaving the system." Cohen nodded. "Don't chase the ones retreating." "Not yet." Meanwhile, in the remains of the Zarnathi fleet, panic had replaced discipline. Commanders were either dead or silent. Communication lines were jammed, corrupted by Earth's electronic warfare systems. Some ships turned off all systems and drifted, hoping not to be noticed. Others fired randomly at space dust, believing ghosts surrounded them. On one of the surviving ships, a young officer named Velrin stared at the blackness outside. "They don't talk," he whispered. "They don't show themselves. They don't ask for surrender." His captain leaned forward. "That's because they don't want to talk. They just want us gone." But Earth had never wanted war. Years ago, when the first signs of intelligent alien life were discovered, Earth had sent out peaceful messages. Signals of greetings, languages, songs, mathematics, humanity's best face. But not all who received. Those signals had kind intentions. The Zarnathi saw Earth as fresh prey, a planet filled with resources, life, and a population too slow to resist. So they came, and they brought fire. But Earth didn't panic. Instead of replying with words or warnings, they built something different, something the galaxy had never seen. And when the time came, Earth chose not to send a message, because the message was already being written in silence, ship by ship. Back in the control center, a young operator raised his hand. "General, the alien listening post has just picked up the escaped vessel." She turned toward the screen. "Are they sending data?" He nodded. "Yes, a full transmission. Ship logs, fleet losses, and visuals." Cohen didn't smile, but her eyes sharpened. "Good. Let them listen. Let them see what silence can do." The Valkyrie system had allowed one alien ship to escape on purpose. Not out of mercy, but out of strategy. If Earth had destroyed everything, the rest of the galaxy might never know what happened. But now, they would learn. Earth was not weak. Earth was patient. Earth could disappear fleets without a sound. On the Galactic Council station orbiting the planet Calverin, the message arrived. Council members of many species gathered around the display. Images showed empty space where thousands of ships should have been. Fleet logs ended in static. High Commander Zurak's last transmission was cut mid-word. The room went silent. A counselor with 3 eyes and silver skin spoke first. "No weapons, no broadcasts, no wreckage. How is this possible?" Another leaned forward, her voice shaking. "Are you telling me Earth did this without saying a word?" "Yes," whispered the technician, "and they never even left their planet." Back on Earth, General Cohen stood before a dark screen displaying the remaining alien ships. "They'll report this," her second-in-command said. "They'll all know soon." She nodded. "They need to. Let the galaxy realize Earth does not speak threats. We only speak once. And that one message wasn't sent with words. It was sent with silence. In the ruins of the Zarnathi fleet, a final group of ships tried one last desperate act. They gathered into a tight formation and charged toward Earth, hoping a full speed run would allow 1 or 2 of them to breach the atmosphere. Maybe they could fire something, damage something, just leave a mark. But Valkyrie had seen this tactic before. The AI moved faster than any pilot. As the fleet charged forward, 10 invisible kill platforms aligned at once. Each one locked onto a target and fired silent beams of molecular disruption, and in less than 8 seconds, all the charging ships disappeared. Nothing remained. Inside the council chambers across the galaxy, one member finally stood. We always mocked humans for being emotional, slow, and loud. But now, they are the quietest thing we fear. Another whispered, "This is not a planet we can invade. It is a planet we must never disturb again." On Earth, life continued as if nothing had happened. People slept peacefully. Children dreamed. Lovers walked under the stars. They would never know how close death had come. And they would never know the message their planet had sent to the galaxy, because Earth never said a word. For generations, the Zarnathi Empire had ruled with fear. Their fleets moved like storms, fast, destructive, and endless. Planets surrendered at the first sight of their flag. Civilizations gave up without a single shot. The Zarnathi believed. They were unstoppable, and for a long time they were, but Earth changed that. Now, thousands of their ships were gone. Their greatest commanders were silent. Their communication lines were empty. And the Empire was afraid. In the capital city of Zarnath Prime, panic spread faster than light. Military officials locked themselves inside bunkers. Politicians who once demanded war now whispered about peace. On every screen, across every station, one name appeared. Earth. Admiral Vaktal, one of the few surviving high officers, stared at the fleet reports in disbelief. 9,883 ships, he read aloud, voice trembling. Destroyed, no battles, no wreckage, just vanished. Beside him, War Minister Urek shook his head. They didn't fire a single known weapon. No radiation spikes, no energy waves, not even a heat signature. What kind of monsters are these humans? They're not monsters, Vaktal replied. They're something worse. They're hunters, and we walked into their trap. The council chamber filled with silence. Across the galaxy, species that once feared the Zarnathi were now watching closely. For decades, no one had dared to fight back. But Earth did more than fight. They humiliated the Empire without speaking a single word. In the Galactic Council's media rooms, leaked footage from the escaping Zarnathi ship was now being broadcast across hundreds of star systems. Viewers saw the black space above Earth. They saw ships blinking out of existence. They heard terrified, alien captains begging for answers. And they heard nothing from Earth. No speeches, no demands, no threats. Just silence. On one planet, a young alien child asked her teacher, "Why didn't the humans speak?" The teacher thought for a moment, then answered, "Because they didn't need to. Their silence was louder than any war cry." Back on Zarnath Prime, the Empire's top scientists were desperately searching for answers. "Maybe Earth used a weapon we've never seen before," one asked. "Some kind of stealth bomb?" Another replied, "Or a virus that shuts down ships instantly?" But every theory failed. There were no signs of hacking, no signs of energy disruption, just disappearance. The truth was too terrifying to accept. Earth had planned this for years, and no one saw it coming. Meanwhile, in Earth's Valkyrie control room, things were quiet. The war, if it could even be called that, was almost over. General Cohen walked slowly across the room. "What's the final count?" she asked. A technician replied, "Only 12 Zarnathi ships made it out of the solar system. All others confirmed destroyed." Cohen nodded. "Let those 12 speak. Let the galaxy listen." She turned and left the room. She knew the galaxy didn't need a statement. The message had already spread. From the icy moons of Trask to the fire deserts of Voltanis, everyone now whispered the same thing. Earth is not to be touched. At first, the Galactic Council tried to deny it. They said the reports were exaggerated, that maybe the Zarnathi fleet had been lost due to a black hole or an internal failure. But then, smaller probe ships were sent to investigate Earth. They disappeared too, one by one, silently. The Council stopped sending probes. And the Zarnathi Empire? They collapsed from within. Their citizens demanded answers. Their soldiers refused to fight. Their allies turned away. Fear spread like fire. The strongest empire in the galaxy fell, not from war, not from bombs, but from a single failed invasion. An invasion Earth never even talked about. A historian named Kel Roon wrote the first book on the event. He titled it, "The Day the Sky Went Quiet." The introduction, he wrote, "In the end, Earth didn't scream. It didn't roar. It simply watched. And that was enough to end the greatest empire the galaxy had ever known." Earth, meanwhile, returned to its silence. The Valkyrie platforms were never deactivated. They stayed hidden, orbiting like shadows, watching, waiting. Earth's leaders made no public announcement. They told their people nothing. And yet, peace returned. Not because of treaties, not because of fear alone, but because no one, not even the strongest empire in the galaxy, wanted to be next. Years later, a young alien diplomat visited Earth. He stood before the United Nations, hands shaking, voice soft. We come in peace. We bring no weapons, only respect and fear. We come to ask, not to demand." The humans listened in, silence, and the diplomat understood. That was enough, because Earth had taught them all that sometimes the quietest planet in the room is the most dangerous one. And so, the Empire never returned, because they knew Earth never forgot. And Earth never warned twice. The Galactic Council had seen thousands of conflicts. They had heard pleas for help, cries for mercy, and sometimes shouts of victory. But never silence. Never a war that echoed with nothing but fear. When the Zarnathi fleet disappeared near Earth, the Council called it a lie. When proof arrived, footage, data, and the trembling voices of survivors, they called it an accident. But deep down, they were afraid. In the Grand Council Hall on Veritas Prime, representatives from over 200 species sat in shock. Holograms floated in the center of the chamber, showing ships disappearing mid-flight. No explosions, no energy pulses, just ships, gone. Counselor Virel of the Tharan Collective spoke first. "We gave Earth a seat at this table 10 years ago. They refused. We thought it was pride. Now I think it was a warning." Counselor Dremek of the Yurni Dominion stood up next. "This was not defense. This was precision destruction. No, Galaxy member has technology that can do this. No fleet moves like this. Earth didn't respond to the invasion. They erased it." A quiet buzz passed through the chamber. The words were sinking in. The Zarnathi Empire had been the Council's enforcer for decades. When someone didn't follow Council law, the Zarnathi sent fleets to bring them in line. Planets surrendered before a single laser was fired. And now, their greatest fleet was destroyed before they even reached Earth's orbit. No one had seen Earth's fleet. No one had heard their voice. They didn't even declare war. A young aide ran into the chamber and handed a new report to the Council speaker. His hand shook as he read it aloud. 3 more scout vessels have disappeared near Earth's system. No traces, no signals. Earth has made no contact. The chamber went silent. Counselor Virel turned to the others. "We must accept it. Earth is not one of us. We cannot control them. We cannot measure them. And if they wanted, we would not survive them." The words hit harder than any weapon. On Earth, the world remained calm. People lived their lives. Students went to school. Markets opened. No one celebrated a victory because most didn't even know there had been a war. The governments of Earth had made a quiet decision. No public announcement, no speeches, no threats. Earth didn't want to lead the galaxy. They just wanted to be left alone. Inside the Valkyrie control room, General Cohen stood before a quiet screen showing deep space scans. "Any movement from the Council?" she asked. Her analyst replied, "A few scout drones, but they vanished when they crossed the dead zone." Cohen nodded. "Good, that's the last warning they'll get." Another officer walked up. "Ma'am, should we send a message this time? Something diplomatic? A statement, maybe?" Cohen looked at him. "No. Let them wonder. Let them think Earth is asleep again. Let them remember what happened when they woke us." Meanwhile, back on Veritas Prime, the Council tried to prepare for a response. They debated sending envoys, offering peace, even tribute. But no one dared fly near Earth's space. The stars around the Sol system had become a ghost zone. No ship entered, no signal returned. Rumors spread. Some said Earth had a weapon that could erase matter. Others claimed the humans had created a thinking AI god that destroyed any threat before it got close. But the most frightening rumor was the simplest. Earth didn't use a weapon at all. Earth was the weapon. The Council formed a secret group called the Observation Corps. Their job, watch Earth from afar, learn everything, understand their power. But even they could only guess. A final report was sent to the Council months later. It read, "Earth is not aggressive. They are silent. They are patient. They do not ask. They do not beg. They remember. And when the time comes, they respond with force no mind can predict." This is not just a planet. This is a warning. Earth is the storm you never hear coming. And so, the Council did the only thing it could. They erased Earth's name from the list of member candidates. They deleted all plans for diplomacy. They passed a quiet law. No ship shall approach the Sol system without unanimous approval, not out of respect, out of fear. Back on Earth, General Cohen stood on the edge of a cliff, looking out over a peaceful forest. A soft wind moved through the trees. Birds sang. The sky was clear. Her second-in-command joined her. "It's quiet again," he said. "Yes," Cohen replied. "Let's keep it that way." "But what if they try again?" Cohen looked to the stars. "They won't. Not now. They've finally understood." He nodded. "Still, should we prepare more?" She smiled faintly. "We never stopped." And in the sky above, unseen by human eyes, the Valkyrie network watched, waiting, listening. The Council had finally understood. Earth did not send warnings. Earth was the warning. Years passed. The galaxy changed. Empires that once stood tall began to crumble, not because Earth attacked them, but because fear was now their ruler. Trade routes shifted. Scout missions vanished. Galactic policies were rewritten. And in all that silence, Earth remained still. The Zarnathi Empire never recovered. Their people lived in scattered colonies, afraid to speak the name Earth. Their warlords fought each other in small, pathetic conflicts, but none dared rebuild the fleet. The lesson had been too clear. Earth didn't fight battles. They erased them. In the halls of the Galactic Council, silence replaced arrogance. Members who once called humans backward now whispered about them like ghosts. No ship, no drone, no diplomat had entered the Sol system in years. The last one that tried? Gone, without a trace. And Earth never said a word. But why? Why didn't Earth declare itself the new superpower? Why didn't they demand tribute or control? Because Earth had never wanted the war. They never wanted power. They just wanted peace and safety. General Diana Cohen was retired now. She lived in a small cabin near a quiet lake in Canada. The war was behind her, but the responsibility still lingered. People called her a hero. Some whispered she was the architect of the most powerful defense system the galaxy had ever known. But she didn't feel like a hero. She felt like a guardian of something the galaxy didn't understand. One evening, a young journalist named Rilo from the alien race Zerine found her. He had traveled years to Earth, not as a scout, not as a spy, but as a witness. Cohen invited him inside. The fireplace was warm. The room smelled of old books and fresh tea. "Why now?" she asked him calmly. Rilo's voice was gentle. "Because the galaxy doesn't understand what happened. They only know what they fear. I want to learn what you felt." She stared into the flames for a while. Then she answered, slowly. "We watched the stars for a long time. Always wondered if someone out there would say hello. We were excited, curious, maybe even hopeful. But when the galaxy finally spoke to us, it came with warships." Rilo nodded quietly. "You didn't fire first." "No," she said. "But we prepared like we'd have to fire last." He swallowed. "Was that your plan? To destroy everything?" Cohen shook her head. "No. We built Valkyrie not to rule the stars, but to make sure no one could take Earth from us." "And now?" Rilo asked. "The galaxy listens to your silence. They think you're waiting, watching." She turned toward him, eyes sharp. "Good. Let them." Outside the cabin, the wind stirred the water. Stars blinked gently in the night sky, peaceful, distant, unaware of the destruction they once carried. Back on Veritas Prime, the Galactic Council held its annual summit. Earth was never on the agenda, but every delegate thought about it. A new generation of leaders had grown up in the shadow of Earth's silence. They had never seen war, only heard stories about how 98883 ships vanished, and Earth said nothing. A motion was raised. Shall we invite Earth again? Peacefully? Diplomatically? Silence, then laughter. Nervous, unsure, fake. No one seconded the motion. The speaker moved on. But that night, in secret rooms, some council members admitted a terrible truth. They didn't fear Earth's weapons. They feared not knowing Earth's limits. How far could they reach? How much could they hear? What would happen if Earth was pushed again? No one wanted to find out. Meanwhile, on Earth, life remained ordinary. Children went to school. Scientists launched peaceful missions to explore their own solar system. Artists painted, poets wrote, farmers grew food. The stars were quiet, because Earth was quiet. But in orbit, unseen platforms continued to rotate. Silent satellites drifted like ghosts. Hidden systems whispered to each other in digital codes. Valkyrie still lived, and it waited. Because humans understood something the galaxy had not. Peace doesn't come from asking, it comes from strength. And Earth? Earth was strong enough to stay silent, strong enough to be patient, strong enough to win a war without firing a shot the world could see. Years later, Rilo published his report. Its final line read, "Earth never wanted to conquer the galaxy. They only wanted to be left alone. But if pushed, they will end the war, quietly, completely, and without asking twice." His work became the most read document in Council history. And though no one admitted it out loud, almost every empire quietly added one policy to their defense manuals: never provoke Earth. Because Earth never needed to be loud. Earth never asked for war. But when it came, Earth ended it, without mercy, without sound, and without ever needing to speak.